Gratefully is a system of intelligence built for nonprofits that lives on top of your structured data, such as your CRM, and unstructured data, your organizational files. Think of it like an AI brain for your nonprofit, except that it is not designed to treat your donors as ATM machines. The system is designed to help you build deeper relationships with your donors, as that will culminate in a better and healthier relationship between nonprofit and the donor. The way it works is once you log into Gratefully, you connect your CRM data, or you can upload your CSV, or you can use demo data as a testing ground. And the first surface that you can use this powerful platform is through brainstorming, is through chat. And so on my screen, you can see that I've connected some demo data, and you can do some basic chats such as just learn more about your data. That's a good place to start. So this is a chat that I have with this, where I've asked it about the data that I've connected and some underlying impact reports about this nonprofit. Here's digging into my data. It's telling me what it's noticing, the patterns, the information that it's able to synthesize. It's able to identify at-risk donors, hidden opportunities for cultivating deeper donor relationships. It can help you draft personalized outreach. Then the next question I asked it was, okay, tell me about my biggest donors. It's telling me about my biggest donors and overall what their health looks like. It's telling me about high priority reconnect opportunities, cooling off mid-level donors. And then I've asked it about a specific donor, and then it's doing a deep dive into a specific donor as well. I've asked it to draft some talking points for that specific donor. And this is where it's synthesizing the information that it has about the programs that this donor has donated to. So the email sounds, or the call sounds, much more natural. The talking points are much more relevant to what this donor has been giving towards, specifically the funds and the impact of those funds. This is very base level brainstorming that you can do with this system. And then I move the chat over to talking about building reports, talking about building charts, trying to understand really everything that you deeply wanted to understand about your donations and your donors, but you couldn't really ask it in plain language in your CRM. This is what this system would allow you to do. And you can continue to build charts here. You can have more complex conversations as well, such as building reports, building segments, and generating content in your organizational tone, in your organization's voice, and beyond that. It's a really powerful, intelligent chat system that we build that is as if you were talking to an AI brain for your nonprofit. Once you connect your data, we automatically segment your donors into categories that need your action, and then a deeper understanding of your donor base. That's this temperature gauge bar that you see down here. This is a list of 10 segments that are automatically created from the happy donors. Those fall into the thriving categories, to lapsing or lost donors. Those fall into this last category here. And we'll dig deeper into these segments and what they mean. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. So if I go into these segments, we get an explanation of what thriving means. There's 4 categories in thriving: champions, loyal, promising, and new. Here we're using machine learning to try to understand your donors based on various different signals that we're collecting about your donors. Needs attention donors. These are your can't lose, at risk, need more attention donors. These are donors that are sort of middle of the pack with a little bit of attention. There's an opportunity to move them into higher categories. And then there's lapsing donors. That includes drifting and inactive donors, where these are donors that obviously you've lost, and there's an opportunity here to win them back. We're building workflows to help you automatically move donors from within these categories to higher categories. On top of that, one thing that we saw earlier was things that need your action. These machine learning models are telling us that these 2 donors are at lapse risk, and you have 8 recurring candidates that are one-time givers. But there's a bunch of signals that are telling our system that these are candidates to become recurring donors. So this is an ideal opportunity to go ahead and take a look at these donors. Let's select them and let's reach out to them, create a campaign to get them to become monthly donors. This whole workflow can become automated as to the actions that can be taken within these categories. These are re-engagement targets, donors that have lapsed or about to lapse, and so perfect opportunity to re-engage them. We want to take all of these actionable categories and we want to create these workflows where you can make it easy for you to log in and take action on these. And whether those actions are emails, messages, calls, one really easy way to take a look at those actions is going into this action center. So let's go ahead and take a look at our action centers. These are actions that are drafted for you on a daily basis based on your donor data, internal signals that we find in your data, as well as external signals that we have collected about your donors, about your organization itself from a bunch of different sources. And so what you can see here is, as an example, this particular donor, Margaret Chen, is an urgent churn risk. And there's an opportunity to reach back out to her with an explainer of why this is flagged as an urgent churn risk. It's a pretty large donor, 24,000 lifetime giving. And here's some email talking points that you can kick off via this button. Stewardship opportunities for new donors as they come in, grant deadlines as they are approaching, upgrade potential opportunities. And we'll get into upgrade potential and hidden revenue and what those sections mean in a second. Additionally, we have Donor Pulse, and Donor Pulse is a dedicated screen to help you deepen donor relationships. Let's get into the opportunities first, and then we'll get into Donor Pulse after that. So the opportunities are really a way for us to take all of our signals and expose the hidden revenue that sits within your donor database. So this could be very simple signals such as donors who've pledged but never actually given, to more complex signals like if a donor is consistently giving, but they are giving as one-time donors. A great opportunity to send them an email, reach out to them with customized talking points, and asking them to become a monthly donor instead. There's also more complex signals in here that talk about if we are seeing signals on a particular donor that their wealth research shows that the capacity of giving is a lot more, then this could be a good opportunity for us to reach out and deepen our relationships in the hopes of eventually advancing the output of that donor. And lastly, we have Donor Pulse. Pulse is a way for us to collect all the signals on your donors based on your internal data, as well as external signals, both research signals, news, career chain signals, and all aimed at deepening your relationship with your donors. So there's signals, everything from career changes, if there's anything happening about their company news, giving patterns, engagement signals. As an example, if somebody just got a big promotion at their company, great opportunity to send them a congratulatory note. If somebody's company is mentioned in the news, if somebody sold their company, if there's other wealth research signals, if somebody's mentioned in SEC filings, these are all flags that you need to be aware of about your donor so that you could take action and help build those donor relationships. And this is all driven from within the Action Center itself. So now we've covered a way to brainstorm about your donors, ask questions. We give you playbooks that help you figure out what kind of questions you ask. Well, we've covered segments about your donors that we create on your behalf, and we've covered what you can do within the Action Center. One last thing that we'll talk about is if you go to your donors page, here you can see the donors and what segments they're in, what stage of giving, any signals that are attached to them. One interesting thing that you can do here is if you deep dive into a donor, let's say you have a meeting coming up with the donor and you're interested in learning more about that donor. This is the place to do that, where you come in, you can take a look at why this donor is flagged as a certain flag. You can look at their donation history. You can look at their relationship narrative. This is an AI generated narrative that is built on that donor to advance your thinking about them. And then you can do a deep dive chat within Gratefully about that donor. You can draft talking points. You can learn more about their patterns. You can see if anyone's has any notes about this donor. If our system knows that a donor does not like to be emailed and you ask our system to generate an email, it'll give you warnings. They'll let you know, hey, listen, this is a donor that prefers a phone call. Here's their phone number, call them, and here's the talking points. So this is an interesting way to deep dive into a particular donor. Additionally, during your brainstorming chats, you can also tag signals like at lapse risk, at recurring candidates. and you can use that mechanism to create advanced conversations. Lastly, every donor information that you upload, everything from your donor data to your CRM connections to your internal knowledge graph that you build within Gratefully, all of that is strictly protected from public LLMs. Any communication that we have with public LLMs, there is a strict firewall layer that we build where all personally identifiable information is redacted before the data is sent to an LLM. So any donor data, any personally identifiable information will never make it to an LLM. Thank you so much.